There we go. Oh, brother's here. All right, let's put this out. I want to take this one serious. You already know, gang. You already know, gang. It's always special. It's always special when we do this. Always very special when we do this. Every week that I can make it here with y'all, it's a blessing. This is him behind me. Right. This is him right here. Oh, I don't know. Yo, so many studios have been in and out of this building. Yeah. I don't know. I know people more by faces than I know by names. There's a thing called Pop Squad. What did you even say? I think so. Yeah. Say, what's his name? Light skin. Other side. What's his name? Shane. That's his actual name. He goes by Nordic. Nito? Nordic. Like Nordica? Just Nordic. I don't think so. He was right here in this building. He told us about your podcast a while back when I came here to see him. Nordic? In regards to some other stuff. He used to do a thing called Pop Squad where they used to run down on the predators. Yeah. That's the name. Nito is his name. That's the name I knew about. Okay. Yeah. You can sit over there. You can sit over there? You sit out of the way? Awesome. It's up to you. Yeah, I just want to be out of the way.
So the camera goes this way and the camera goes that way.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show you right now what the view's gonna be. I got you. This one's not on right now. Thank you.
No problem. Start with jacket or no jacket?
Jacket. I think it's with a jacket. It's chilly. You chilly, man? Let me see how you look on this.
Quick. Take it off?
Yeah, real quick. Let me get past you, brother. Not so bad though. I see his vision. Like that. This
Everyone got a different vision. Check it out.
I feel like it should be on.
Okay.
There you go.
Put cell phones on vibrate.
Yeah. Yeah, hold on real quick. Let me just check. Yo, unlock the truck, brother. You heard me, Steve?
Oh, you talking about the red roller?
All right, just so you can see the angle. You see the comment?
Yeah. I gotta put the headphones on or no?
Nah, you don't have to.
You
got your chopstick and all that?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good right here, right?
Yes, sir. Hold on, let's do the water.
Okay.
You don't want that water, do you?
No, it's all right. We'll do it like a 45 minutes, hour. How long is your segments?
Normally like an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, then yeah. Can we get yeah, please.
You'll be like, Parks ain't gonna be able to move. You're gonna be hit.
Nah,
that's a good move. Yeah, you got it. Thank you.
Bring the butt sex too, just in case.
Huh?
The butt sex too, just in case.
Where's that at?
Right where the key, right where the quarters are. And then we'll start.
Yes, sir. If you want, let me send you a link. That way you can share it out. Well, I mean, it's everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And like I said, after I'm done with this, I was doing like a post edit as well.
Okay, now is there any way that you can share that to my page now?
Let's do it.
Or how does that work? We'll wait till we set up. When we set up, then we do it.
I mean, let me see. I do it right now. I got you right now.
But when it's time to put it live.
Oh, it's live.
Right now, everyone's watching.
That's what I'm saying. It was muted just a 2 second. Wait, when you got off, I just unmuted it. But right now, it's just live.
Okay.
But there's no one in the stream right now, so it's just pre-gaming right now.
Okay.
You're welcome.
It's a struggle. You can help me with this thing?
I'll take this off.
Yeah, I don't want the label. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Microphone check. If I was a rapper,
Microphone.
That's when Biggie was in the basement. He was on. Is this on?
There we go. All right. And then I just said it to your Facebook, so we live.
On my Facebook, so all right, cool. So my followers.
Yes, sir.
I'm already on it.
So what are you doing?
So on my Facebook is live right now. So all your friends are watching this. Who we have in the corner right there? I think I know him. He's the guys that you want to know, but he doesn't want to be known. But he's known.
True. We gonna get into all that.
Best friend.
True. Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Luch the God. I'm on the bus doing what I do each and every single week, doing it the best way I know can. Y'all know what I do. I try to get the best talent, best content creators, entertainers, souls, right? Rappers, local rappers, artists, spoken word artists. I don't care what you do. If you have something that you are doing, you're productive, you're Connecticut, and you have something to say, you contact me. We do this, we set this up, and we get your story out. We have the conversation. We are souls having a human experience, right?
Yes, sir.
That's word, right? Today I got my special guest with me, my man Steve. Yo, listen, before I let you introduce yourself, let me let the audience know, right? Let me let the golden podcasters know that, I've been trying to get Steve on for a long time. I've learned about who you were through my friend CEO Jay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Jay, and Jay was I also interviewed him as well, and he broke down how he got started with throwing parties, and he told me about your involvement briefly, just because you focused on his story, but he briefly told me your involvement in the club scene and how you're getting into now like the producing and taking him down a different route that he wouldn't have really gotten into without you, right?
Yeah.
So then he also told me you're working on at the time a podcast and a TV show.
That's right.
Right. I think the podcast was called Single Fathers. You want to we're gonna get on that Single Fathers, and then he also told me about the other TV show. We're gonna get on that as well.
also, when he told me, I was like, wow, I didn't know somebody like that was doing that in Connecticut. He was like, oh, you never know. You have to kind of reach out and see. So I'm gonna connect y'all, and boom, right? So we weren't able to set it up before, but then, like I said, synergy. Things happen when it needs to happen. It obviously now is the best time for it to happen. I am more than blessed to get into who the fuck is Steve, my brother. Who are you?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me.
Of course.
My name is Steven PROHASKA. They call me Big Steve. A little bit of background on me. I was in the nightclub life for about 7 to 8 years. I got in 2007, and then I got out in 2015. I was retired for a little bit, and then I started doubling up on jobs, and then just investing my money in to fund other projects that I got going on. I got my book right now that just dropped, From Orphan to Millionaire, which you can sign up on my website to pre-order your copy. BigSteveBigMoves.com, From Orphan to Millionaire. And I do have a podcast called Parental Vision, which is a podcast for parents and guardians to share their stories so other parents can learn and become better parents. I got that after filming my TV show pilot, Single Fathers, because all the great feedback that I got back from a lot of mothers and fathers. Right. And right now, the podcast is really taking off. We're getting millions of views. I'm working on a full-time sponsorship deal that I should be closing next month. Cross your fingers. And then to take it to the next level to where I can get into tens of millions of views.
That's what I like to hear.
So
that's what I say. You right here in Connecticut.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So where did it all start? What part of Connecticut? You know what I mean? We all know Connecticut is a very small state, right? I think we're the third smallest state, right?
Yeah.
Right. Third smallest state. What part of the third smallest state were you from, Connecticut?
So I grew up, when I first moved to America, I lived in Trumbull for a couple of years. And then my family, we moved to a town called Southington. I grew up in Southington, graduate from Southington High School, played some sports out there, got into dirt bike racing, did paintballing, did the kids stuff, regular kids stuff. The thing that was different with my family and I is I was raised by two doctors. So the education was pushed hard on me. Right. The level of expectation was through the roof. Right. And that sort of stuck with me, and it didn't really hit me until both of my parents passed. And now I'm realizing I'm at a certain age. Education is really serious. It's a whole nother level. Right. Not just about education, but the lifestyle you want to live, what area you want to be in, who you want to be associated with. But doesn't take away from my learning experiences from the other things I did when I was younger. It's just that I see it from a different point of view right now, because some of the projects that I'm working on require a lot of big funds that I put up myself, but I'm expecting big returns. Right. While you're going through that, you learn there's different levels to different things that you're doing as far as each project is concerned. And it's the same with any job, any promotion, anything that anyone's doing. But I'm really understanding that really hard now when both my parents gone, and I'm instilling that in my kids as well.
Okay, word. And so you said both your parents were doctors, and for the audience, because they may not know yet, but they're going to learn, your book is called From Orphan to Millionaire, where the doctors aren't the parents that birthed you, right?
No, so a little bit about me. So I became an orphan. I lost my parents through a tragic gun violence situation that I survived. And then that's how I became an orphan. And then I got lucky enough that I got adopted by two doctors. So they're not my birth parents, but they gave me a chance at life. I should say second chance. My first chance was surviving gun violence, and my second chance was being adopted. So I'm taking everything to the sky.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean?
And so I did watch your podcast with Ian, right? That was a great interview, by the way.
Locked In with Big. Shout out to Ian.
I like that. I like that interview a lot.
Thank you.
In that interview, you said that this is one interview I wanted to talk about that was very important in your childhood. In the in-between time from when you lost your parents to when you got in the orphanage, do you have any of the earliest memories or any memories?
That was when I was between 5 and 6. After I lost my parents, I was living in an orphanage in Medellin, Colombia. I don't remember much. The only things I remember was, fighting for food in the orphanage, how the orphanage was ran. The orphanage was ran by nuns. And when food was ready, they would ring a bell, and then all the kids that were in the orphanage, they would run to the cafeteria, and it's basically you got to fight for your food. So they got the little cup, not cups, but like bowls, so to speak, and you would get whether it's potatoes or it's rice, and Spanish families in Colombia, they eat a lot of rice, a lot of soup. So sometimes if you were slow, you're not eating. So I remember like it was survival of the fittest, to be honest with you, and the biggest change for me after being adopted, I was given meals by my parents, and I actually cried several times. Like, I don't got to fight for the food. Like, wow. Like I at first it was almost like, are they tricking me? You know what I mean? This is really my plate of food. Because think about it, when you're young, people don't realize that sets the tone for when you get older.
Right. Because that's what you know at the time that
that's what you know. And I went through that with the PTSD, with the fighting for the food. The shoes, I didn't speak about that, but when I got my first pair of shoes from my parents that adopted me, I wore them to bed while I was sleeping, because in the orphanage, if you had something, the kids would steal it.
Right.
So I wore my sneakers in bed while I was sleeping. And it wasn't for a few days that my mother said, she took them off, and she said, they're going to be right here at the edge of the bed so you can see them, so they're not going anywhere.
Here's what's crazy, right? I have a 4-year-old daughter, right?
God bless.
God bless. And I cannot fathom a hypothetical, even a dimension where she can survive like at 4 years old, like next year, when she something happens to us as her parents, where she has to go with a bowl of food and have to survive off of just a group of people who steal. And you're a man, you know what I'm saying? And I can only imagine how you felt as a young boy.
Well,
were there women there, young girls there too?
There was girls and boys. They didn't have clothes. All we had was a sheet that covered us, which you'll see some pictures in my book, From Orphan to Millionaire. But to be honest with you, that's why I think a lot of the kids were orphans. They turned to crime. You see, I know the serial killers that are 11 and 12 years old, kids that are stealing other things, 6, 7. It's survival. You know what I mean? It's not, how do I say this? They don't take anything for granted. If you have a apple on the table, it's not going to be there long.
Right.
You know, but I was just blessed when I came to this country, and that I was now given, I had 3 meals a day.
Right.
My father made me breakfast, and then he gave me snacks, and then I had lunch, and then I had dinner. It took me, I want to say, a good solid 6 months, almost a year, just to get acclimated to going to bed. I have my own bedroom. I have my own blanket. I have my own pillow. I have my own room. Like, I would play with the light switch, because in the orphanage, when they turn off the lights, it's all, you don't get to turn them on. I would, Dad, look, on, off, on.
As like kid. 6, 7.
Yeah. So remember, that's when I'm a young kid. I got my own room. My bed's over there. I got stuff over there. I'm loving it. But at the same time, I'm like, is this real? Like,
right? Can it be taken away? Like,
yeah. Am I gonna go back? Like, I don't know. So I was very blessed, and during that time frame, I went through a lot. So what happened was, after I got adopted, my parents actually went back to Colombia, and they adopted another young boy who had different troubles in his life, and then we were raised together.
Your brother.
And then my brother Mike. Shout out to my brother Mike. And then we became close because I didn't have to go through the changes and the tribulations by myself.
Right. And how much sooner did he come after?
It was about a couple of years. So I was already in Trumbull for about 1 to 2 years. And then when my parents started seeing me getting into trouble and not acclimating to the school, remember, I didn't know English. So I was in a classroom, all white kids. I'm the first, light skin. I'm speaking Spanish. My clothes are a little different. So I started rebelling. I didn't know how to deal with the change. So I started rebelling. Yeah. Stealing lighters, taking pencils from schools. I was stealing cars. I was, young.
Right. That's, you can't. I'm surprised you lived through that.
And I said that in another interview that I'm glad. I don't know how I didn't have a record.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But like I said, so my parents adopted another boy, and then we bonded. And like I said, there's pictures in my book, Orphan to Millionaire. You see my nice that we slept together because we became close knit.
Now, how did that? Because I know. So let's say there's a conversation, right, between you and your parents, and they're like, "Hey, listen, we're trying to and bring in another young brother. I mean, young brother for you, right? To let this be of an easier experience." Now, the first day you've met the young gentleman, how was that experience? Because there's a chance you couldn't have liked them, and the experience could have went 360. I mean, sorry, 180. So,
well, to be honest with you, when we went to the orphanage, there was a whole bunch of kids playing, and I basically pointed out that young boy right there.
That's how you did it?
Yeah.
Okay, word. Okay. Yeah. So why him?
I couldn't answer that, brother. I just
pick of the litter?
Yeah.
Did you ever ask your adopted parents why they chose you?
No.
You never asked them?
No.
Okay, they never crossed your mind?
Yes. To be honest with you, I think they want two things. My father couldn't have kids, and they wanted to give a child that had no chance in life a chance.
Okay.
You know, they knew I had a violent background as far as my family, you know, working for a cartel and then being an orphan. So they knew I had certain struggles and certain problems, so to speak. But they were excited just to have a child to raise. And like I said, I didn't really realize that until I was a real young man when I was 21, 22, 23. You know what I mean? That I really understood the meaning of what they did.
Right.
You know, as you're growing up, you're rebelling. I don't want to listen to you. You're my mom, or I don't want to play this sport. You're not really understanding the whole picture. Right. You know,
the picture of what it could have been, which is a TV show you don't even want to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's we'll talk about that too. But at that time, it was just being thankful. Like I said, there's many nights I tried killing myself. I went through therapy. I went through a lot. I was fighting a lot of demons. And till this day, I mean, I still have certain demons, but I'm learning to deal with them as an adult. I went to therapy. I was on medication. I had to see a psychiatrist to deal with the PTSD with gun violence, and then to deal with counselors of how to sudden changes on certain things. So that was pretty much normal for me when I was raised by them. Like I said, they were doctors, so they were like, we need to do this. You know, me being a little kid, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go see a therapist 2 times a week. We played checkers. His name was John. Shout out to John from Southington. And I would play checkers with him for 2 hours each session. It was Tuesdays and Thursdays. And he would just talk because he knew there was things that were wrong with me, but I wouldn't talk about. No kid wants to talk about bad things in their life, right? I mean,
especially in a setting where it's like this, where we're just
like this,
talking to me, and you got tell me, spill me your feelings. As a child, is very difficult. That's why it makes sense for him to play checkers, because he can kind of distract your mind and pull what he needs to out of the conversation you give him while you're playing checkers.
I didn't know that as the kid, though. At that time, it wasn't until I was older that I now understood why he said this activity, because it makes you talk about certain things,
right?
And then you started really understanding that, and that's when, like I said, when I was more older, I realized that this mother and father do love me because they're trying to help me fix the situation in my life and the things that were going on in my head.
What kind of doctors were they?
My father had a PhD in mathematics, and then my mother had a PhD in business marketing, management, and then psychology.
Okay, business, psychology, and
3 PhD degrees.
Mathematics.
Yeah. They were both college professors. Like I said, my mother graduated from Purdue University.
Okay.
She was a Boilermaker. And then my father graduated from Annapolis Military School. And he graduated second. My mother graduated first. So it's cream of the crop.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then you got me, little Spanish kid from Colombia, just figuring out his way. So it was different.
Now, were they the type of family to have did you see like their cousins and their brothers and sisters? And
they did have cousins. My father is originally from Boise, Idaho, so I had grandparents in Idaho, and then I had cousins in Idaho, which I saw them probably 4 or 5 times in my lifetime.
Okay.
And then I had my mother's parents were living in Jamaica, Queens.
Okay.
So when I was adopted between the ages of 8 to 13, I spent a lot of time in MacArthur Park in Jamaica, Queens, running over there, the parks, things like that. And then I had a couple cousins in New Jersey, and which we were close. But as time went on, my parents elevated and our lifestyle elevated. So we didn't really see the rest of our family a lot. But we did talk a lot on the phone. I was really close to my grandmother and grandparents from Idaho, and
these are your dad's
my
parents.
dad's family in Idaho, and then my mother's family in Jamaica, Queens. Because remember, that was their first grandson.
Right. Okay.
So they took to me a different way that they took to their own kids.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And they taught me a lot. I mean, I remember going to Jamaica, Queens, visiting my grandmother, and my mother was mean to me at the time that I just wanted to go, a little kid, get McDonald's, and my mother would say no, and my grandmother said, Ellen, why don't you just take the boys to McDonald's? Mm-hmm. And I go, Mom, yeah, you should listen to your mom. You know, that was my little, you know, because my mother was always, she was a tough cookie, man. You know, so I love going to grandma's house in New York. It means we're going to McDonald's. You know,
word.
Mom, we're going to go see.
That's the only woman that's going to break mom. We're going to go see her. Facts.
So that was great. And then my grandmother in Boise, Idaho, she didn't believe in McDonald's. She believed in having breakfast. So she made my brother and I the best breakfast, the eggs and the bacon. She made the eggs with a little bit of pepper on them, like seasoned.
Yeah. It's seasoned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then, my grandfather used to call sodas pop. So he would always say, yo, you know, Steve, would you like a pop? And I'm 8, 9 years old. I'm like, popsicle stick? All right, cool. And he brings a can of Coke. What's this? You know, so I learned their lingo because you know they're country. They live in the country.
Nice. So, okay. Yeah. So all right. Now, by this time, I'm assuming when you got from Medellin and then you're here in America, you're in Trumbull, and you say you were predominantly. You were basically there weren't a lot of people that looked like you at all. Mm-mm. When you did come across the first person that you felt you can bond with, right, called brother. How was that experience besides your own brother? You know, that's a different experience when you have to go and reach out on your own to go.
That happened when I moved to Southington High. My boy, who unfortunately passed, his name is Trevor. I met him when we were playing flag football in Southington, Southington Town football, and we bonded instantly. We were 8. I think we were 8 or 9. I don't remember the age, but I believe it was 8, 9, 10-year-olds. Mm-hmm. I bonded with him, and my brother bonded with him. I bonded with him because of I hate to say it's the color of our skin, and I felt like he knew what I was going through. Right. And he and my brother bonded because my brother was on the same football team as him when we were playing tackle football when we were little. Mm-hmm. And then him and I became best friends. We were best friends for about 24, 25 years until unfortunately 25 years.
Okay, my condolences. And I didn't even think to ask. Is your brother also Colombian or what is he?
Yes. Yeah, okay. He's from. I'm from Cali. I was born in Cali, Colombia. He's from Bogota, Colombia.
Bogota, Colombia. Okay. Wow, that's crazy. So from 8 to in your mid-20s, you guys were friends. Let's talk about the transition from out of high school now, right? Because now I can kind of. Oh, you say you play what sport? I heard you say lacrosse.
Yeah, I played a little lacrosse. I did soccer in camps. In high school, I played a little bit of football. I was on the gun team on St. Paul's. I was doing shooting for a little bit. I did.
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And then I got into motocross, and then
you did motocross.
Yeah, I used to race dirt bikes when I was little. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yo, that's a life. What are you talking? That's pretty cool.
To be honest with you, it was to deal with all the stuff that was going on in my head. To be honest with you. You know what I mean?
Right, to kind of distract you from that and create a new excitement.
I didn't think about, family, this, not whatever. I was just riding my bike, doing the jumps, and then enjoying myself. So I did that, and then I graduated high school in 2000. Went to college out in Hamden, Southern Connecticut State University. Yep. That's Hamden or New Haven. I think it's Hamden.
Yeah, Southern is New Haven. Yep.
Yeah, so New Haven. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in that, and then I started my
study.
Business marketing, and then business management, and then a minor in human performance.
Normally, I always tell people that getting a degree in business is so half and ass, like so iffy, because if you're not business minded, degree does you nothing.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
But it's great that you actually got a degree and you're actually using it. And in a way, like it represents what you're doing now. You know, you may have learned what you do now from that degree.
Of course. We started that journey when I first got adopted, and I was hustling candy bars. I would sell them for the flag football, the town. Instead of selling for $1, I was selling them for people for $3 to $4, and I was pocketing the
killing them in Trumbull, man.
Whoa, Trumbull and Southington. And then that it was at that moment that my mother and my father started gearing me towards business classes.
Wow,
you know what I mean? Because that mentality that I had. Listen, they're giving me a product. Okay, Steve. All the football players, you guys got something for $1 each, and then come back with the money. Come back with the money? Okay. So, all right. So, I knock on the people's door. So, listen, I have a candy bar. It's $4. So, okay, here you go. I come home with $400, $500. I'm a young kid. My mom took the money away from me. I said, well, I earned this money. This is my money, you know. And then that's when, you know, the business really started. And that's when I was pushed into business classes.
And you said you were how old at that time? You was in high school, right?
No, this was middle school. I said, between 8 to 10. Flag football. This is the flag football stuff.
Okay.
That was when the mindset started. Okay, I sell this. So what happened then is that my mother started pushing me and my father into business classes and all my studies because that's what I was excelling at. That's what I was naturally good at. So that's what they fueled.
I want to tell a quick story. That's actually that's crazy you said that, and now you're making me want to. I may want to make this law, right? So I also have a similar experience, right? When I was in high school, we had a gym teacher, and my gym teacher, like, he really took a liking to me and a few students. There's only a few students. He was because he's a strict gym teacher, but I love gym so much, or I like physical activity, or I used to be so in shape, and I'm kind of fat now. But I used to be so in shape back in the day where he really took a liking to me. And like I always had like manners and I was respectable with him or whatever. So one day he approached me and was like, hey, listen, after fourth period or during fourth period, I'll take you out 30 minutes earlier and we'll set up a little bake sale after school and we'll sell candy and brownies and cookies.
He's feeling your...
I had no idea like this. I never thought that before. Plus my high school was pretty small. So in my head, I'm just like, oh, like I didn't think about it. Day one, he put me out there, and I'm more excited to set up than the money making. I remember when somebody gave me $1 for like because he gave me a little spreadsheet how much everything cost. 25 cents. He gave me $1. After a while, I'm seeing wads of cash in my hand. I'm like,
what's going on here? I'm
like, okay. So I remember at the end, he was like, all right, we have to donate something. I'm like, donate? I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, this is for to donate money for a program. And I remember being so upset because I'm like, I just understood the matrix, and now you're about to take this and donate it to whatever. And then so then he I was so upset with him, and I kept telling him every day, like, we did it one time after that, I was like, yo, that's whack. Like, do it to where we can keep the money and you'll figure it out. So he spoke to I don't know who he spoke to, but he came back to me later. He was like, listen, we can't use the money from that, but me and you want to put together some money, whatever you put up, I'll match you. I'll take you out. Set at the 30 minutes. You, whenever school get out, like at 2:09, don't hang out with your friends. You come straight to the front of the building and you set your shit up real quick before everybody have to get on the bus. So smart. 2:09. When I'm telling you, I'm at the door like third period. I have my backpack ready to go, so I'm not hanging out with my friends. I don't care. As soon as the bell ring, I'm outside, and I have myself set up in less than a minute, and I'm outside ready to go. And we did that from my sophomore year and my junior year. And we made so much money. And from that, I think that's where my entrepreneurial spirit really started because we've made so much money together. And I remember like buying my own sneakers from that, like doing different things from that money. And I'm like, if he never pulled me aside, well, what if he chose him or him and her? It wouldn't have been me.
I think you might have saw something in you that maybe you didn't know about yourself. And then what happens is that you get into it so much you don't even realize what you're doing.
That's a fact.
So what happened was you blossomed. See, the thing is that he could have saw a skill, whether it's the way you were speaking or an action you were doing in class, and he just wanted to fuel that. And
that's
then
crazy.
There you go, because that's what you do. You got a little flame, you got to put a little bit of cotton on it, and you blow it a little bit, and then it blows up.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So that's actually crazy. You actually hearing that you actually had the same experience.
Yeah.
I'm like, now all my kids doing that. Every now I want to try to give everybody the opportunity. Let me ask you that. Do you believe that everyone should have the opportunity to be successful?
I think see that question is different for me. There's always opportunities. Not everyone takes them.
True.
See, the thing is that an opportunity can be in front of a person, but they might not see it at that moment as an opportunity. What I've noticed for myself and what I notice for my kids is if your mind is in a certain place, you might not see an opportunity.
Right.
So is it an opportunity? Doesn't mean the opportunity is not there.
Right.
It's just that you're not seeing the opportunity.
Granted. So people who are leaders can see opportunities better than most people, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
Like, for example, I know you have a lot of people around you, and I know if you're a leader, you want to make everybody else, not someone. I mean, yes, you want to make them a leader, but you want to empower everyone with the same thing.
So what I do for me and what I've learned, so I'll answer that in two parts.
Yeah.
I try to always give people that are around me certain resources for them to use to blossom in whatever it is they want to be or be successful. But I also guide them of telling them and showing them what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, because sometimes you might not know your skill until you tag along someone and something else happens.
Right.
For example, your best friend could be a rapper. You hang out with him, and then you realize that you're a dope producer. Right. But you wouldn't know that unless you were hanging out with him. So I do it with two ways. So I do my project. I bring close people in, like my best friend or other people around me. Listen, guys, this is what I'm in, women. This is what I'm doing. I need a little bit of help doing this, and this, whatever. Along that journey, you find out something that you're good at. And then as me being a leader, and what I love to do is I want to push them in their area.
Right.
So, for example, if someone comes on, I did a TV show, I filmed a TV pilot. I paid some of the guys on my team to come and learn from some of the Hollywood producers and directors and the people that are in the industry.
Right. Which is crazy. That's
now
an investment.
No, but see, they might not realize that. I realize that. Me, I was raised as a kid. I have to pay for opportunities like that.
100%.
But I'm not mad at them for not understanding that, or people that don't see that. They will later when they're trying to do something like, oh, they're trying to get into a door or try to reach out to somebody. There's many ways to skin a cat. So I love, and what I think is beautiful is when you basically you help blossom a person or whatever it is. An example, my oldest son now does an internship at my podcast, Parental Vision.
Nice.
Shout out to Parental Vision, the podcast for parents. Follow that. We're all over social media. And I say that because my son now wants to get into learning about the podcast and film. Right. So he starts learning about cameras, start listening to what, even though I don't know it, I'll start looking it up. This is what we're doing. This is what this and that, whatever. He's learning to email. He's learning to schedule. He's understanding.
How old is he?
He's 16. He'll be 17 in August.
That's
so
nice.
This year is going to be credit as far as an internship with his school system. And then next year I'm going to do a paid internship because he's so ahead of his studies. He's actually graduating a half a year before the rest of the students.
Wow. So that would be next year, basically.
Yeah. So he'll be next year, halfway done. He'll be all done with the credits and see you later. You know, so what I planned is that I want him have a paid internship next year. And then I want him to have a regular job for about a year to 2 years so he can understand what is the worst out there. And then he can go, Dad, I want to do my own business, or Dad, I want to go to college. So, and then whatever decision he makes, you just feel that.
All right, let's probe around a little bit right there. So you say you want him to work an average job for about a year.
Yes.
I see where that can make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel like a year might be too long? Because
actually, I'm doing that for two reasons. Not only for him, because before my mother died, she pushed me to go to college right after high school.
Right.
College wasn't for me.
Right.
I did stupid things in college. I stayed up late, played video games, gained the freshman 15, whatever. I didn't take school seriously. It wasn't until I was in the corporate world, you know, working at the paint store, assistant store manager, making $42,000. Dad, how am I going to make? I want 90, 100, 200,000. You're not going to get a job unless you have the next degree.
True.
So, but you need to understand that and see that in real life. So I'm not taking away going to college for other people or being a tradesman. Like my son is great, maybe be an engineer or a programmer. He likes video games. But I want him to know that on his own time.
Right.
Because when you learn a lesson on your own, you're willing to learn because you learned the lesson on your own versus someone pushing the lesson on you.
Right.
So that's why I'm doing that. And to be honest, I really want him to have the worst of the worst job. You know, like I need him to understand, yo, I'm working. That I need almost that breaking point that he says, I don't want to work. That is at that moment, he'll learn that lesson. You know what I mean? And you know what's crazy? I know a lot of grown men and women that still don't know that lesson.
Yeah, that's a crazy. You gotta line him up with somebody who's doing the same job but way older than he is too. Because for people who are a leader, let me tell you another side story. I've always been like entrepreneur spirit, and I've done. Oh my God, we'll talk forever about that. But at one point, I was like, I needed to have an apartment. So getting an apartment, I couldn't do without pay stubs. So everything in the life of me, I was like, all right, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna get a job because I have to get a paycheck. So
that's the life.
You're right.
That's life.
You're right.
So you're learning that.
Jammed up. I'm like, all right, I gotta do it. Even though I like doing what I do, I have to sacrifice because there's something else that I want and I can't get the way I'm doing it. Even though I have enough money, no money in the world, and get a signed pay stub to get an apartment to let me live there.
Yeah.
So I worked for Home Depot, IT, right?
Okay.
And I'm working from home. And I liked it for a little bit because I got to talk. I didn't have that feeling of I need to sell or I need to hit a quota. I need to
the sales pressure. Yeah.
I didn't have any sales, but I'm just like, the money gonna come anyway. You know, I have money already. I can chill. So I did the job day to day, and it was terrible schedule, but day to day was easy. I was at my 3rd month, my 90th day, and I asked for training from one of the older ladies that was there. Now, she was there 13 years.
Wow.
I've been there 90 days. She's been there 13 years. We're talking, we're chilling. And I said, just talking, I was like, by the way, because she said, the pay here is great, blah, 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 blah. And because my husband makes good money, I probably would retire here. And I said, oh, you're going to retire? That's interesting. I was like, you don't want me asking, how much do you make? She said, I make like $63K. I said, Miss, did you just say you made $63,000 after working here for 13 years? And she's like, that's not a lot. And I'm like, as soon as our conversation ended, I went back to my manager, the one who hired me, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I thought this was something I could do. I got the apartment already, but I can't continue this anymore. Like, I'm done. Like, there's no way I'm gonna be here.
You put the pieces together.
And I just did the math. I was like, this is not mathing in my head. I saw what I can do just selling my own stuff. There's no way I'm gonna be here 13 years. By 13 years, my projection is too high for me to be here with you.
Yeah,
$63,000 a year,
I get it.
Or anywhere close to that. You know what I mean?
But you had to have that experience for you to understand that.
Yep.
And that's exactly what I want for my kids. And to be honest with you, I want that for my best friends and the loved ones.
Yep.
Because sometimes they don't see that.
Yep.
But once again, you can't force a lesson onto somebody.
That's fact.
You know, I always use the stove is hot as an example. You can touch it. One guy, you can touch it. Me, maybe it takes 2 seconds for me to realize the stove is hot. The next guy, maybe 3 seconds, or the young lady, 4 seconds. So we all interpret things differently, but that's based off of the individual.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what that teaches is I want you to learn quicker.
Right.
So as soon as you seen that, you left.
Right.
Which is smart. Not everyone understands that. Some people might be at a job not realizing. I was a roofer, and I was with guys that have been doing it for 40 years, and some of them can't even stand up straight because they've been doing it 20 years. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, yeah, that's not going to be me.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I went through that, but see, it's those moments that I realized, dang, I got to double up. So when I was roofing, I was hustling guys selling sandwiches. I was fronting guys money to buy sandwiches. So what I did is I made more money being a roofer, being almost like a front money to the guys when everyone was, ordering the lunches. Some guys were $1 short, $3 short. So I was fronting the money. Yeah, that's a business. What you talking about? He's making a lot of money roofing. I got to get mine.
That's right.
So of course, that's I became that guy. So like they come to me for lunches or whatever.
So you be like, he's 3 or just throw me 5 on Friday.
There you go. But you times up by 15.
Right. By Friday,
15 guys.
That's 2 paydays.
Yes, thanks. So I had my bills, and then I had my extra money, and then I had my other hustle.
Nice.
So what happened is you learn that quickly because I saw the guys just like you did, but I saw them not money wise. I saw how their body was,
the health, right?
I said, listen,
which is even more important because health is what what's the point even getting to 40 if your back gonna be torn up?
I guess that's salute to all the roofers out there, all the construction workers. Right. I can't do that. That's not me. I don't even like doing the work around my house. I did that when I was a kid, so I feel like I put in my time.
Right. I'm done for somebody else. That's a fact. So another cool story that I got from one of your podcasts was that you told me. Well, you not told me. Sorry, you told the audience that you were once a security guard, right?
Yeah,
the security for a club out in Danbury.
Tuxedo Junction.
Yep, the Tuxedo Junction.
Yep.
And then I want you to tell the story because the way you told that I was like that's a really great story from where you was from how you were working there, and then I'll go from there. So tell us a story.
So when I graduated college in 04, I started working at Sherwin-Williams. I was a assistant store manager, and it was at that time that I got my first apartment. I was working full time. I signed on for $42,000 or $40,000. I made about 45, almost 50,000, but I didn't live the life that my parents had, or that I was raised up with, or what I wanted. So I'm like, how do I make more money? So I did have investments with my family into the the stocks and things like that, but that was for years. I mean, I'm using some of the funds now, but I started then for future. So at that moment, so what I did is I went to look around for a second job. I went to a nightclub. I didn't know Danbury. I was driving around at night, and I found a nightclub, and I ended up beating up a kid, and that's actually how I got hired. Mike Roviello at the time hired me. Rest in peace, Mike Roviello. So that was the beginning of my, security guard life in the nightclub industry around 2004. And then it started from 1 day a week. I did really well. 2 days a week, did really well. 3 days a week, did really well. 4 days a week. I did so well that my part-time job, I actually got more money than my full-time job.
It was crazy.
And then it was during
the short-time gig too, because
I saw the vision. I saw the men that were running the nightclub. They had cars, they had jewelry, they had women, they had. To me, I thought they had it all.
Right.
And I was like, that's what I want. That's what I want right there. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing right now in the corporate world. I was like, that's what I want.
Right.
So then I started really asking them questions every day. I was the guy. Yo, listen, what are you doing right now? Why you do this? What are you going on?
You didn't have children at this time, right?
No. Okay. I was 2004. No kids.
All right.
I was like around
4 years after high school, 22?
22, to be under 25. Yeah, okay. I was 22, 23. And I started hanging around them. I was asking a lot of questions. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And as I don't know if you know, but I know a lot of promoters know this out there, that you don't ask a lot of certain questions when it comes to certain things, when it comes to the owners doing certain things. How are they paying this? Why are they doing that? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? So what happened is that Mike fired me, the gentleman that hired me, not for reasons like that, but I was fooling around, dicking around, not checking the bracelets, flirting with the girls. I had certain situations with his daughter at the time. His daughter Noelle, shout out to Noelle. She would come to the club at times, and I didn't know really how to deal with that situation, being a bouncer. Do I let her slide because that's the owner's daughter? Or do I do my job? Like, what are the rules to this right here? This is what I'm navigating. This is what I'm learning as a bouncer, right? And then eventually I ended up getting fired. And I told him, I said, I'm going to come back and I'm going to take your money. And then
when you said that, what did you mean I'm going to take your money?
Meaning the fact that I'm going to come take over the place.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Okay. Because by him firing me, that's basically, I'm not
making good money. Right.
Yeah.
Come back.
But listen, I came back 8 years later. I ended up buying him out. I became Al Kakamo's partner. Shout out to Al. Those two gentlemen took me in as a son. They taught me the game and the nightclub business, how to make money, what to do with the money, everything that no one tells you. It's the stuff that you see in the mobster movies, is what you see on television, how running the restaurants, I had front seats to how it was done by men that were very successful. They had other nightclubs, they had a lot of businesses, properties, things like that. And I was able to orchestrate a deal that I became 49.1% owner. And at that time, that was 2006-07. I signed the contract. I structured the deal. It was basically, I would be half partner, and then we would do it to 4 years, and then we would sit down and reevaluate how the situation in the nightclub business was going. And then if it was good, I would purchase the other 50%.
Right. Exit plan, basically.
Yes.
Right.
But see, originally they wanted to sell the whole thing, the whole nightclub, the whole shebang.
Okay.
I didn't want to do that because I needed guidance.
Right.
You know,
and you probably didn't have the upfront cash yet, but you knew your vision, right? Because you're an entrepreneur. Yeah. But your vision, you already knew on the back end that by the next 4 years, and whenever it's time to reevaluate, you'll know what position you'll be in order to make sense.
So unfortunately, it didn't go that route. we did some business. The nightclub business industry goes up and it goes down.
Yeah.
But I was seeing it was going down, and it was during that time that I met a young phenom named Ian Bick, who started doing team parties. Did very well, and I thought he was going to be the next big thing, and he is. He's a star in his own right. But he went a separate path. Ended up doing some federal time. Now he has his podcast, and then him and I have reconnected. I've reconnected with a lot of business associates that I made money with in the nightclub back then. A lot of us went different ways, but we always kept business, and we never burned bridges. Well, the smart guys never burned bridges.
Facts.
Shout out to everyone that listen. Do not burn a bridge. You don't know whether it's going to be 5 years, 10 years, or whoever may be doing something that you might need to do some help, get some help, or go in business with them.
Right.
So I always kept that philosophy. I was also taught that philosophy as well. And now we're doing business and in the podcast industry, and we're on our way to dominate certain things. He's already dominating in his field.
Right.
And now you can see my podcast is going up as well. And then we might have some other things in the works as well.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. In that 8-year span between when the club owner fired you and the time you had the money together, is that where you got the capital from, or what was in that 8-year span?
So what I was doing a lot, I was working, and then I was investing a lot. I was working 2-3 jobs, and I was giving my family money to invest for me. So some of the things that I invested in back then was Under Armour. I invested in Microsoft. I invested heavily in Apple because I knew in the future I wanted more money. And they were the ones that really said, Steve, there's only 24 hours in a day. You can work 20. You need to sleep a few hours. Right. How are you going to make more money? That was their way of teaching me how to understand that you have to make your money. That
was after you got fired from the bouncer. That's when that invested.
Well, during that time, I was already implementing working multiple jobs. What I was doing, I was living below my means. So what happened was I had the full-time job, still living below my means, and then I was bouncing, and I was giving that money to my family to invest for me. You understand?
Yeah.
So what it is it's serious discipline. That's what people don't realize.
That's a tight budget, because let me see.
Real tight.
Let's say the club $1 million. You show $3, $4. Even if you come up with $200,000, $100,000, to come up with that cash in order to make that kind of deal in the span of you getting fired from the damn club to the moment where you're like, I'm back again.
Well, I put up some money, and then my father matched some of my money, so it was a little bit of both.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the important thing was that I was on a strict money regimen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what my family wanted. You understand what I'm
100%.
saying? Because when I got fired from the job, I actually went full bore into entrepreneurship. I opened up a landscaping business. I had an online business. I was doing all that on my own. Then at that time, in 2000, when I turned 26, that's when I had my oldest son.
Okay.
My first son.
Your first son at 26. Wow. 26. So you lived the life between. Yeah. Okay, up until 26, got out of school, do club,
So I did the school thing, then I did the corporate world. I learned the nightclub stuff. Then I got fired from there, and then that's when I started using the knowledge on my own. But see, the thing is that you have to be in the right business.
Right.
You understand? So, for example, I have knowledge on certain things as far as business in general, how money works. But what happens is to really make a lot of money, you got to be in the business that suits you. And I'll give an example. I'll use a rapper as an example. He could be a great rapper and a great performer, but he might not be great with his finances.
Right.
So what does he do? He'll hire a great accountant.
Right.
But he has to be a great rapper to make the money.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Same thing. See, me, it's the other way around. I'm a great accountant. I might not be a great rapper.
Right.
So that's when I started dipping and dabbing into different businesses. Is this landscaping? Not for me.
Right.
Online business? Not for me. You know what I mean? And then at that time, I started managing and running the strip clubs in Waterbury. And I did that. This was way back. I don't know if they even had his Peekaboos even around. I mean, and then Mr. Happy's, but anyways, that I was in that circuit for a while before I bought the nightclub. So that was the last bit of sauce and knowledge that I was gaining before I bought into the nightclub.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Now, real quick question: Did you have your son first before the nightclub, right?
Yes.
Before you owned it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's going through your head? Because now you haven't had a child up until now. You haven't, you've been raised by your parents that adopted you.
Yep.
You're on your own. I'm assuming because you're doing big things at this time. You're on your own. How did you make the decision to have your kid at the time at which you had your kid?
What happened was, to be honest with you, I seen a girl at the strip club, thought she was beautiful, and then
not working there.
Yeah, Alon's in Danbury.
Not working there on stage?
Yeah, she was a dancer.
Okay.
I seen her. I was like, oh my God, I need to have her.
Okay.
And then me and her ended up doing our thing, and then 9 months later, I had a son. Okay. And how I was raised, I was with her. I didn't love her, and there's nothing wrong with that. She just wasn't for me.
Right.
We went through a lot of arguments, and then I parted ways when our son was about 2 months old. And I said, listen, I'm going to provide a good life for him. Right. And it was at that moment that I realized, listen, I really got to, you know what I mean? I got to step this up another notch, because now it's not just for me, it's for my son. Right. And then that's when I got serious into the, actually I signed for a nightclub about a year and a half, 2 years after, because my son was 3, I think. 3, yeah, something like that, 3 or 4, and then that's when I put everything into 100%.
Into 100%, right? Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, when before, because I'm pretty sure you guys were dating, right? Before you had a child, you guys were like dating. When you brought her back to your parents, because you said they were doctor, or they had the doctor, so their doctor.
They didn't like her.
They didn't like her.
It's not about they didn't like her. It's that they knew that she was uneducated, that she didn't see anything for herself in the future. So what we tried to do is just to make sure that she was situated. So we helped her get her bartending license. Her stance was that this time I'm a stripper, I'm making a lot of money. And my mother said, that's great, but I've never seen a 50 or 60-year-old stripper making
I said
a lot
on
of money.
to the weather.
There's nothing wrong with that. Right. So what my mother said is, well, why don't we help you get a bartending license? One day Steve owns a bar or a nightclub, and then you be a bartender, and then you guys. Okay. You know what I mean? So it's implanting the future,
vision, right?
For you know what I mean. But it was hard because she didn't see that.
Right.
Like I told you, you can't force a lesson onto somebody.
100%.
So we went our separate ways. So like I said, I took our son. I raised him. During the nightclub life, my son was living with my mother and my father while I was running around running my businesses. And then unfortunately, my father passed, I want to say a couple years into the nightclub business. And that changed my life. That shattered me, because my father was everything to me. And it was at that time that I stepped up more on our family's business aspects. Yep. I had to go to all of our properties, handle certain things instead of them being done by, a third party.
Lawyer, right.
I took over doing things while being a nightclub owner. And at that time, I started dating another woman who became the mother of my youngest son. At that time, she didn't understand that. We talk about it now, but she now understands I have to go here. I have to go here. I'm taking care of 5, 6 properties for my family. That's your whole day. Right. You remember, I'm running a nightclub, and then I got other businesses with my family. I have to schedule a dinner time with the kids. Right. Everything has to be scheduled, basically. Yeah, right. Yeah. She didn't understand that, and that's okay. But I was responsible for a lot. Right. So, like I said, when my father passed, I took on a lot of things. And then as the years went on, I was more worried about my mother. Because remember, my father, when he adopted me, he was already 50, 60. You understand? Ooh, okay. So by the time I was a nightclub owner, he's already in his 80s. 70, yeah. And then my mother, when she adopted me, she was already in her 40s. So now if you fast forward the time, she's 60s, 70s. Now she's creeping up to 80. Now I'm worried about her. You know what I mean? So there was a lot going on, and it was just not just the nightclub stuff. I had to handle our family ventures. I had to handle, myself. Like I lost myself, but I had a conversation with my mother one time because I came to her house, to have dinner, spend, the day, and I had alcohol on my breath. And she asked me, she goes, "Is that what a good father does, Steve?" And that was her way of saying, you're not being the best father you can be. Right. And that made me change. like this. From then on, it was easy on the drinking. I never had the drinks anymore around my kids because I was raised by a great father, a great man. And to me, doing that was dishonoring him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
then that's when I started really cleaning up my eating habits, making my kids breakfasts, not sleeping in, not being the lazy father. No. I'm going to wake up before them, wake them up. We're going to have breakfast together. How's things going? While doing the nightclub stuff. That's where it became very difficult, you know?
Yeah.
So at that moment, that changed me as a young man and as a father.
And by that time, your dad was already gone, and your mom was going to give you those words.
Yeah, because remember, everything was already taught. It was more of her guidance now.
Right.
Remember, she's almost 80.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest son was the first that he's 6 or 7, give or take. You know what I mean? Still young. I was still doing the nightclub stuff. Now I'm planning my exit to get out of the nightclub life.
Right.
That's when I came up with the idea for the TV show Single Fathers.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, my money was invested in the nightclub and in my real estate, so I couldn't make any financial moves myself.
Right.
So I did look for investors. I went through a lot of bullshit, people that were talkers and not doers. So I just basically put it to the side and I'm going to wait till I get my money back. I'm going to fund everything myself. Fast forward X amount of years, I put up my money myself. Hired a couple guys from Hollywood to produce it, direct it, put the whole pilot together, got the whole pitch deck together, and now I'm in the process of trying to sell it to a network.
Nice. All right. Do you believe in marriage?
Do I believe in marriage?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You never been married before?
No.
Why not?
Well, when I was in the nightclub life, I wasn't in the right frame of mind. Mm-hmm. Now I'm with a woman who I love, and I would like to marry her. Got to get a couple things figured out first, as far as I want to make sure her career is set. She is a great woman. I love her, and I think we could be great together. But I just want to make sure certain things are situated for the future. Mm-hmm. Her career, she's actually going to retire in a couple of years, and then actually. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that she is set with her future, her career.
Right.
Before I propose or we take that step together.
All right, real quick. I don't mean to intrude, but I do have a question. In the case that she doesn't do what she wants to accomplish, whatever that is, that thing is that stop her. If she doesn't accomplish it, would that stop you from marrying her?
It's tough. That's really tough. That's a good question. I'd have to say yes. I'd have to say yes because it's all about the future. If we're making decisions, and I'm not just talking about marriage, I'm talking about I'm going to build us a house. You know what I mean? X amount of dollars. I'm situating all the kids for futures. You need to have the future plan.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just not based off of a decision. My goal is to build us a house, a $3 million house, propose, have certain things are going to be lined up. This is a big decision. There's money behind that decision.
Right. But you do want to build it whether you get married or not, right? Once you start, you're not going to stop because you're not in love anymore. Once you start, you're going to have to finish it. Yeah. You want to marry her whether she wants to finish it or not. What other parameters do you think may stop you from getting married?
Well, no parameters as far as me getting married, but I want to be with her.
Right.
Like I said, it's us growing together, but I also need her to grow in a certain direction herself because we're two individuals. Together, we're a team, but you can't lose yourself even when you're a team.
I agree.
You know what I mean? A lot of people, I think, they lose themselves being together and not feeling each other. And remember, and this is coming from my mother and father, they fueled each other. Mm-hmm. My mother made my father get his PhD degree. My father got my mother to get her PhD degree. My father pushed her to get all hers. So there was yin and yang. There's an equal balance.
See, now I hate to do it, but I see what you're saying. And I get what your parents did because that makes sense. But from what your parents did, what would stop you from emulating that? Because what they're doing works, and I believe in what they're doing. It sounds like you believe in what they're doing. So why?
But it's a different time. That's not going to work in this time.
I do agree with that too.
Because not only is it a different time, my partner is a different caliber, and I'm a different caliber.
Okay.
So for us, maybe I could be the breadwinner, and then she does what she wants to do. The difference is that I want her to feel comfortable with whatever it is that she's doing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Do you believe in 50-50? What's like your overall look on that? You see everything that twist?
I mean, me personally, I believe the world should be 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
But me personally, I don't do 50-50.
Okay. Would you teach your son to do 50-50 with his woman?
I actually, to be honest with you, I teach them to take care of everything.
Okay.
But I want them to choose whether to do 50-50. I think when you're at a certain level and you could take care of everything, you have to be careful that you do that, because the other person might not do that if they were able to be in a position to take care of you 100%.
100%.
I think you only do that when you know they could. Mm-hmm. And I'll use my girl as an example. She doesn't ask for anything. So that tells me it's not about finances.
Right.
So, of course, yes, I bought her a car, or I'm going to do this for her.
Right.
Because she deserves that in my eyes. Versus a woman that's just saying, listen, you better pay half my rent. What?
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I agree.
No, it doesn't. No. So for that way, that's how I think in that situation.
Right.
As far as my kids, I teach them to take care of everything and to learn that, but they have to learn how to navigate when to do that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so you believe that the modern relationship, right? Because the traditional stuff is gone now. But the modern relationship, the men should kind of use it as a switch to kind of choose when to take on majority of the bills and when not to, or is that how you're explaining it? Or?
So how I explain it to my kids is that that we're responsible for everything.
Right, men.
You know, as men, as young men.
Right.
But as they grow older and the women that they deal with, each situation might be differently.
True.
A woman could be making less money, she could be making more money, but you still have to contribute. Now that's different for each relationship.
Of course.
Now, when you ask me that, I'm thinking as far as the whole entire society, the whole standard. Now, technically speaking, the woman she's got to pay her own bills whether she's with you or not.
I agree.
So if you use that perspective, well, then that's not 50-50. Now, if you're living together, right, I don't know, maybe she cooks, she cleans, so then you make the money. Or nowadays, women are, making more money, they're working more. The men are taking care of the kids. That's fine, too, if that works for you. Right. What I'm saying is that there is no standard as long as you work as a team. Mm-hmm. But how I teach my kids and what I teach my girl and our family is that I want them to be able to have choices. You have choices when you have more finances. You're able to choose what to pick versus, are you going to help me with rent? Are you going to help me with this?
Right, or expect it.
You don't have a choice then. Right. So that tells me a little bit just about your mentality before anything even happens.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I always tell my friends, because me and my girl, we share a bank account, right? Mm-hmm. And then like we have separate accounts, but like the main money, like my main money and her main money goes into one main account.
That pays the major bills.
That pays the major bills. And right. And if I do so many other things. So I have like things that I do that may go to my other accounts, but like those are like small money. So like, I do whatever, like all my side jobs, it may go different accounts, but my majority of my money goes to the same account that her money goes into.
But see, this is what I was talking about. You guys have an understanding on that.
Right.
See, the thing that happens with a lot of men and women is that they don't have that understanding.
Right. And I think that is net. I feel like if you can't pass that, then I don't think that those two people should be in a relationship.
I agree. I agree with you. That means they're not mentally capable of understanding certain things, and then you're putting yourself in a jeopardy in a position. I understand. And you know what's funny? When I was a young nightclub owner, I actually had a hoopty just to go out with girls because I didn't want them knowing I had money or I had a nightclub. Mm-hmm. I wanted you to like me for me.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Not what I have or not what I could do for you. Mm-hmm. So for me, to be honest with you, I had to navigate the dating world a little different.
Right.
You know what I
You
mean?
know what I'm saying? Because by the time you're a nightclub owner at 28, the world is your oyster. So how do you? I mean, I can see how you probably sell the street. You probably like that one right there. That's what I want. And I can see how you easily got there.
That's exactly how it happened, bro.
Right.
And unfortunately, and then I learned that too with my mother. She goes, that's why a lot of women are gravitating towards you on that, is because of the finances.
Okay.
So it wasn't until I got a little bit older, after I left my youngest son's mother, that I realized I have to change who I'm hanging around or associating with to find the right partner.
I got you. My fault. Let's take a quick break real quick, y'all. You said the camera overheated over here. Yeah, yeah.
I can go outside and get some air.
Yeah. I'll take a break. We're gonna take a break.
I'm sweating. Yo, he's smart, man. He's big. That nigga smart. That nigga smart. I think I'm like, yeah.
All right, y'all. We're just taking a quick break. Had to fix the cam.
Hey, y'all. That's why he goes to the I don't know that you Stop telling me, where's the can you see my fridge? Giving me a hard time. And then now I got to do the IRS because I paid them a lot of money. I feel like called up. I go, listen, motherfucker. This is the shit that I gotta go through. That's something. It's a waste that I didn't see. Oh, this is why nigga. right.
Yo, keep on pause though. I'm getting set up because he's not gonna be on his camera anyway.
I told them, yo, 10 minutes, take a quick break because a couple of people were commenting.
Got you. We'll pause this camera real quick.
Good for you, chasing the dream. But yeah, TikTok, it's 10. Yo, we're not on right now, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna have my guy reach out to you. He can help you get monetized, bro, in a few months.
That was my next. I was gonna hire somebody to help me.
My guy, I'm telling you, brother. Listen, he might have done things in the past, but business, he's on point.
That's all I care about.
That's it.
That's all I care about.
You see my numbers. Trying to slim down a little bit. You know what I mean? I get ready to the camera.
Me too, man. I still remember being 150. I'm about 250 right now.
But you look good though. You don't look sloppy though, bro. You feel like you look sloppy?
Yo, my legs hurt, my body hurt. Yeah, man.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, man. Crunching over here. All right, perfect.
As soon as it comes in, They don't want to talk about that. And I'm the scumbag. Steve, you got my money? Bro, this shit I be going. Yo, John, am I doing something around here?
Nah.
We be getting into it. You know what I'm saying? I be getting heated. You be getting, you know.
Yo, listen, I believe it, man. I believe it. I know the struggles. That's how we here right now.
Yeah, I see you. Bro. I see you.
It's the only way we can even get here. All right, let me see. You looking right there. All right, bet.
We got
Yeah, we can fresh air. And if I get cold, then
no, I'm straight.
All right.
We back.
All right, we back. We back. If you watching this live, I appreciate y'all for the patience. You know what I mean? We had to take quick bathroom breaks, quick liquidation breaks, make sure that we're hydrated and we're able to have the conversation. You heard? How y'all feeling? How you feeling?
Feeling good. Thank you.
That's word. That's word.
Welcome back.
That's
Big
word.
Steve. My book just dropped, From Orphan to Millionaire. Pre-order your copy on my website, bigstevebigmoves.com.
That's word. So, Steve, tell me, we've now learned, and I've learned a lot. I've learned how you started, how you were an orphan. Tell me the day that you realized, damn, I'm a motherfucking millionaire.
The day?
Or the moment. Just that moment. Because there's a moment where you were like, I'm about to be a millionaire. I'm about to be a millionaire. Then there's the moment you cross it like,
I was 17. I want to say, to be honest with you, 16, 17, when I knew my life was different than everyone else's.
Mhm.
As far as me personally handling finances, I obviously took over when my father passed away on certain things, but there was no specific moment that I said, I'm a millionaire. My family was always situated. Now, obviously, that both parents are deceased, I handle everything for my whole family. That's including my brother, both my kids, and then my unborn grandkids.
Okay.
So it's not really a specific moment. It's right now, I'm responsible for my whole family.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
But I knew I was really situated when I was 18, when I noticed my house is a little different than the other people's houses. But to be honest with you, my parents did a really good job of hiding certain things, as far as not showboating certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned on my own, being a young nightclub owner. I had jewelry, I had cars, I had women, I had that, but I was at a young stage in my life. And what many people don't realize is that my mother used to call me a loser for having a nightclub.
That's crazy.
Because she was thinking
the image of it.
She not necessarily the image, but wanted me to be associated with the building owner, certain people of certain statuses. You can't say you're the boss unless you're amongst bosses.
That's a fact.
You understand? I learned that. But see, I'm telling you right now, I learned it. When I was younger, yeah, I'm that guy. I mean, I still wasn't flossy like that. I had a little jewels, a couple things, some properties, whatever, but I didn't brag about it. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until my mother passed that I realized, I could be a boss driving a Prius. The difference is you don't know.
You don't know. Right.
But you'll know what I'm doing because that's what bosses do. Michael Jordan doesn't have to say he's the best. That's understood. LeBron James doesn't have to go on ESPN. I'm the best.
I do a man job. I'm the best.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So right now, what I'm preparing myself for and the projects that I'm doing is tripling and quadrupling what I've already done. And what people don't realize is that my mother and father helped me start my success when I was 13 with the investing. And as we were speaking about outside, is that even when I had my first job, my check went to my mother's account and then my mother would give me distributions.
Mm-hmm.
So I was different as far as, working on Filene's, working at AutoZone. My checks would go to my family and then they would tell me how much money I could live off. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We have so much in common. And it's so crazy because, and this is I meant to say outside earlier about the college thing. And I kept losing my train of thought on. When I went to college the first time around, which was right after high school, I also didn't take it serious. I also, I was in, what is it called when you are about to fail? They give you that one chance thing.
A redemption course or something?
Right. Just everything in the book basically tried to help save my grades, but it was nothing they can do because I was there for the hangout. I was there for the college experience, not for the education. I failed out of college after a year and a half in. I then went back to college to get my IT degree because I started building an app back in like 2017 or like 17ish. I built an app called a Luch app, and basically, thank you. It was on Apple and and Android and everything. Yeah, I went to school. I tell you that real quick. So me and my girl was in whatever, some Buffalo Wild Wings in Waterbury, right?
Oh, the plaza there.
In the plaza, yes.
I know where that is.
Next door is Staples, right?
Yep.
We still in the talking stages a little bit, like a little bit more into talking stages. We're talking, and she was like, "Oh, I wish I could see what this meal looks like without me having to order it." So I called over the waitress. I was like, "Can you explain it?" She said, "I can't explain it. I don't eat this kind of thing." And I was like, "That's whack." So we're just talking about ideas, and I was like, "Yo, there needs to be an app where people can take a picture from their food from every restaurant." And then there's a source where we can all kind of go and find it, and we can reward people for taking those pictures, type of thing, right? So we left Buffalo Wild Wings, you know where Staples is.
Yeah, right.
We went to Staples, got a notepad, we got out the car. We got out Staples, went to the car, sat in the car, smoked, and we wrote out, like, drew out picture of what each app screen would look like. And was from home screen login to sign in to what the search bar would like, to what the drop search should say. Everything I can just write out. We did that. After we did that, I took up there was this program that teaches coders for beginners.
Yeah,
I started doing that, and I did like the Java code of what the idea was, but it was so very trash. My cousin was in college at the same time for UX design, so he knew how to take my Java code and turn it into user friendly, so we can all use it, type of thing. We did that. We launched the app. I did a expo out in Canada. They invited me out to Canada to do a startup expo, and I did all that. No investors contacted me back, but at the time I was upset. After a while, I knew, because I'm like, if I have money, I wouldn't give it to me under what I had. Though the idea was great, I didn't have a team. I didn't have this proper credentials. I didn't have anything. All I had was a few courses and an actual idea, which is what got me there, but not an investment, right? So that's just one of the small things. But when I went to school after college and it was free, I didn't take it serious. When I built the idea with my girl and I went back to college to learn computer science, and I had to pay out of pocket, I was an honor student. I didn't get lower than a B+. And it really, and it really showed me that only once I had to pay out of pocket, because I used to work for American School for the Deaf, and I used to do overnight. And what they said was, whatever I paid, they'll give me back $600 at the end of each year, which means that I'll probably be paying $200 maybe like each year. And I'm learning these classes every year. Every time when my the reports came back, I'm give it to my school. I'm like B+, and they'll give me my $600. And I paid for like 3 semesters of computer science degrees.
That's dope. Built
the idea, didn't get the investors. I got discouraged, left college. I have one more course to do to get my associates, and I just stopped going because I felt like after I left the IT route, especially with the Home Depot story, that IT experience plus the app not taking off discouraged me. And I'm like, anything I do moving forward, it's not going to pertain to that degree, so I'm just going to leave it alone and move forward.
All I can say is don't lose on a dream or don't forget about a dream. There's more than one way.
That's a fact.
More than one way.
That's a fact. You know what's crazy now? So, and this is for the future, I haven't left the idea alone. Now with ChatGPT, now with all these AI programs, I can get a lot more done without him than when I had him at the time. And now that it's my time, like now that I have everything ahead of me, granted AI saturates everything, but now that I have AI, I can still accomplish the app idea way better now than had I done it with him. And it just goes to show you that like things come in its time, and just like college and just like the app, things will come into fruition. It's just that, line up opportunity with these things.
Well, follow through with that, man. I would definitely be interested maybe in the future putting up a couple dollars for that, because based off of what you said right there, I'm like, yo, listen,
that'd be great, right?
Yeah.
And I was involved in cryptocurrency, and that's another thing too. Okay. You said that you got involved in stocks.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, man, 2017, the same year, I learned what a Bitcoin was, which changed my life. This one, Bitcoin was about $700. Ethereum is about $12. These things are cheap change. Now today's Bitcoin $73,000. Right, this was $700 back when I got onto it. So I was invested in Bitcoin. I studied it. Mind you, this is during my computer science time. I'm studying and I'm learning the codes. I'm learning why it's so oh shoot. I'm sorry. 1 second.
So this is the Andrew Tate talk right here.
right. They trying to shut me down, y'all. Fucking government. The government. All right, you know what? It's all right. We emphasize.
Oh, improvise.
Improvise. I said emphasize. That's crazy.
You gotta follow through with that after thing, bro.
Yeah, but I'm going to. You know what I'm saying? And I think with AI, it's going to make it a lot easier because what I want to do is incorporate cryptocurrency so that way I can reward users. When I first came with the idea, I was thinking about rewarding people with like donations, but people aren't so quick to donate. But with cryptocurrency, you can stake coins. There's different coins that you can use to do different things that I can reward people with.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, if we reward people with, even if it's 0.0001, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even if we go reward people with a fraction of a penny over time, when it becomes valuable, these people will have a attachment to the app. No matter if Apple, Microsoft makes whatever around my app or someone wants to steal the idea,
yeah,
they're already like so tied to the app because they would have this cryptocurrency that's still of value that always keep them attached to the app. You know what I mean? So now with everything, how everything is, I can still do it. It's just time. You know what I mean? And get the right team, same thing. Like that way, like I said, if you are invested, you'd like to know I have an IT professional who I can say, hey, listen, the privacy, cybersecurity, everything has to be.
Do all your things that you got to do. Do your due diligence, and then I'm always around to talk business on certain things like that. You know what I mean? Because I've been on the other end as well. You know what I mean? People don't realize that it took me years to save up to do certain projects.
Right.
It's not snap of a finger.
100%.
10 years in the making for me to do my TV show by 10 years.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? People don't realize that 10 years.
Right. And talk about that. So even when you're doing a TV show, how do you put together your team? How's the process work for you?
Oh man, I'll be honest with you. I had the idea when I was running my nightclub, and I was limited on certain funds. So what I ended up doing is I hired a producer, and I basically had fathers do videos for me on their phone, and we sort of spliced it. And I made to be honest with you, like a bootleg pilot many years ago. What happened was that I didn't market it because one of the father's kids' mother wanted to extort me for about $25,000. Because at that time I didn't know
permission to film the kid.
I didn't have legal consent to have her daughter film.
Right.
Which I understood. There were certain conversations, but my attorney just advised me, Mr. PROHASKA, it's cheaper just to move on with the project. And so I kept it. No one's really seen it, and obviously they can't. Right. But what happened was that taught me what I'm gonna have to do in the future.
Right.
Okay. Because see, it might be coming from a good place, but if I put that material out there, someone in the world's thinking, oh, they didn't have the consent or whatever. Listen, I'm not trying to break any laws here. I'm not trying to, the kids or anything like that. No. I want to show fathers doing their job, being a father.
I 100% respect that, especially now too, because back in the day we had networks like OWN. See, now if you was a woman and you wanted to promote single moms, I'm pretty sure somebody would have picked you up by now.
Yeah,
but single fathers ain't as appetizing.
I'm not saying it's not appetizing. There's a lot of things that go behind the scenes in Hollywood. Certain things aren't, I can't say what they seem to be. Sometimes it's who you know, what you know. I'm navigating through that as we speak. All I can say is I have been reaching out to some networks. I've had some conversations with big names, but certain things are in the works. But at the right time, something big is going to happen. But I'm not rushing it. Yeah. But I am realizing that certain things take time. It might not go the way I want, but as long as it's that project that gets out there, so then I can get on to my next investment, which is the apartment building. I want to buy a big apartment building. And
in Connecticut?
No, it's going to be somewhere in the U.S., to be honest with you. Okay. It's a dollar. It's wherever the highest return on investment is.
Right.
That's situating my other projects that I want to do, so I'll no longer be coming out of pocket. So I'm flipping money to flip money for a business to flip money. So I'm like 3 flips in.
The money already spent before you even got here, right?
No. What I'm saying is that
for the next investment.
2 jobs. So this selling the TV show, that money's paying for an investment that'll flip more money so I can pay for another investment.
Right. That's a joke. That's what I'm saying. That money's already spent on the investment for the next money, basically.
So this is why I say a lot of people don't understand that. They're just like, they see me doing something, whatever it is, but they don't realize, you know, when I was retired from the nightclub life, I was working 2 to 3 jobs to stack money to invest in the stocks to make me more money now. I was invested into GameStop in 2005 when my oldest son was born. He would be 17, almost 20 years in. My kids made money and the stock went up with the GameStop. I don't know if you guys know about Elon Musk making that tweet.
But you didn't pull out at the time of the because remember the spike was like maybe a week.
Not even. Yeah. No, but I'm saying there was an extra cash flow for my kids. So I did pull out those funds for my kids to save because I knew it wasn't going to happen again. Well, not me, my team. But see, you got to be prepared though. You know, I got a big, you know, stock portfolio with different companies: McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Nike, Under Armour, to name a few. And a couple pharmaceutical companies, and then tech companies. But I learned that when I was young. Right. So now I'm just living off of the dividends, and then I'm investing into the businesses that are going to be creating cash flow for my kids. Nice. For, you know what I mean? Yeah. So. Okay.
Okay. So what's it? So after the book, so you have the book, you have the TV show, and you have the podcast. So it's like you're through.
Those are the 3 big projects I'm doing right now. Whichever takes off biggest first, obviously it's going to be a trickle effect. With everything else. But the next real thing for me is, to be honest with you, is with any one of those taking off at a level where I want them to be, it's putting the team on to things that they love doing. So it could be, you know, my best friend was doing the project over here. He wants to flip houses. I'm going to help him flip the house right here so he can do that on his own. Right. My team don't have to work the job what they're doing right now. They can do whatever they're doing with me full time. They won't be part time. It's what we were talking about before. I'm empowering my team. But the thing is that I got to empower the people that want to empower themselves. Everyone says they want to make money, but you'll know who's really putting in the backs, you know, the grunt work. Those are the people that I want to help. Because those are the people that are going to do something with it. Everyone wants $10,000, but if I gave you $10,000, you'd be like, what am I going to do? At least be honest. You don't know what you're going to do. Right. Some people don't know. Some guys be like, yo, listen, I'm going to do this. Okay, well, he's already got it planned out. Right. You know? And that's the difference. And that, to me, is my happiness. I get joy out of that. Right. Like close friends to me doing certain things. It's not whatever. So they can provide better for their families.
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right. Do you have any final words for the good audience? We learned so much about you. You know, we're going to have you on for a part 2 because there's still so much I didn't get to dive into. But we're 2 hours in, and I already know what time it is.
Well, the only thing I want to say is that for anyone out there, just, you know, go after your dream. Try your hardest. Don't let anyone discourage you. It's not going to be easy. There's a fine balance between going crazy and going after your dream. What I've learned is that you'll lose yourself in the process, but that's okay because you're going forward towards what you want. And just don't let anyone, you know, discourage you, and then just go 110%. And also make sure, go sign up, pre-order my book, From Orphan to Millionaire, at BigSteveBigMoves.com. And then check out my podcast, my team, Parental Vision. We're all over social media: TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. And then, you know, follow your boy Big Steve. See what I got going on. And that's pretty much it. I'm just a workaholic. I'm married to my work. That's it.
That's all I love to hear.
Listen, I thank you for having me.
Whoa, we ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. No, I just wanted to give you final words before we move on to this last portion that I've added to the podcast.
Give it to me.
I bet, right? So what I've been doing now is for the last 3 guests is I've been challenging their rhythm and their pronunciation. Right? Because I was on a podcast not too long ago and I could not say this word for the life of me. And they were laughing at me. And I had a podcast that night, gave my guest the same words, couldn't do it. Gave my next guest, couldn't do it. So you my third.
All right, let me see
where we at.
I'm in the hot seat. Let's see if college paid off.
Here we go. Is this all right? No, not this one. Hold on.
The word is it.
Oh, you're gonna wish it was it. I got you.
So this is the funny thing. He's gonna have to pronounce it.
I was thinking that too, for real.
Here we go. That's funny that you think I'm gonna pronounce it to you.
Oh, you're gonna. Oh.
That's funny. All right, right. So this is how it goes. We're gonna do the pronunciation first, then we're gonna get his rhythm, and then we're gonna enjoy our day, right? So, Bon, this is how it goes. The word is gonna pop up on the screen.
Okay.
You're gonna pronounce it, right?
Okay.
And in your pronounce, if you don't know the word, what I would like for you to do, in order to submit your final answer, you must use it in a sentence. So let's say the word might be doodle, right?
Yeah.
You pronounce it, blah, 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 blah. All right, when you come to your final word, my word is doodle. When I have a piece of paper, I like to doodle.
Gotcha.
Doodle is my final answer.
Understood.
All right, let's get it started. Oh, you know what? Let's get the audio peeking while you're doing this. Share screen. Go. Here you go. All right, so that's what it looks like. All right.
Or check the description for all examples.
Get it,
Let's go.
Right
here. Yeah, I don't know that.
Take a chance.
Apitos. Yeah.
Whatever your final answer is, using them in a sentence. That's the definition right there. Well, that's a sentence. That's the definition. Sorry.
Wow. Yeah, I can't even put that together.
No?
The understanding is difficult. That didn't even help me.
Just using the sentence. That's the best pronunciation you can. Just using the sentence.
So my son needs Wi-Fi to play his video games at my house, but when we go to the vacation house, it's Apitos.
I like it.
Ubiquitous.
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 Ubiquitous. Oh, shit. Okay. I don't use that word. You know what's crazy? So I just that's what I said. Ubiquitous.
Lloyd, the word is obfuscate. Lawyers like to obfuscate situations in the courtroom.
Obfuscate.
Okay, that's close.
My God.
He didn't use it in the sentence, though.
I know some of them he don't, so you're in trouble.
Oh, thanks.
You're supposed to make up your own sentence. I just don't care if I take the sentence because you still have to pronounce the word.
Ephemeral.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know how to use that in a sentence.
That's what you can.
All right. You got to take the nouns that you know in high school and ephemeral into college.
Ephemeral.
Plethora. I have a plethora amount of fat. I'm working on it.
Plethora.
Oh.
Sagacious. My mother is sagacious.
Sagacious.
Nice. That's what jam you up.
Sesquipedalian. My brother is a sesquipedalian.
Sesquipedalian.
You got this one.
Women seem to have the panacea of everything.
Panacea.
No, this gonna mess you up too.
It's kind of funny because this is me and him talk about this. I get
Y'all say the word?
Session de Freud from his misfortunes.
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude.
German.
You know it's German. Schadenfreude.
Equivocate. My brother speaks equivocately to me all the time.
Equivocate.
Okay.
Crepuscular. I know certain individuals that are crepuscular.
Crepuscular. How many did you get right? Can you pronounce these words used by Cat Williams in his stand-up comedy?
More, and then we do the rhythm.
Do you know what?
How you feel like you did?
Can you vocabulary? Can you pronounce these words in English? Let's find out.
It's going to tell us after?
Nope. You'll see it when you see the playback. When I do the edits in the playback.
Oh, okay. That's the word?
Yeah, that's the word.
Auspicious.
Sentence.
After you work hard, you will auspiciously have funds.
Auspicious.
Got that. That's right.
Venerable. My father has earned his venerable.
Venerable.
Patrictor. After it rains, it smells particularly outside.
Petrichor.
Sonorous. My youngest son has a lot of sonorous in him.
Sonorous.
Antecedent. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't. After school, you go to work antecedently.
Antecedent.
Okay.
Psychogamy?
Read that sentence.
My psychogamy made my brother laugh.
Physiognomy.
Synonymous. My boy is synonymous with being a rat. Interspersed.
Definition. Every sentence.
I entered Spearset between my kids playing video games.
Interspersed.
Absequently. My brother will absequently leave without notifying me.
Absquatulate. How many of these?
That was French, I think.
The German and the French, man. All right. All right. Now this last one is a rhythm test. You have two. You have 2 chances, and we'll get the average of the 2. I got you right now.
Rhythm. All right.
Mhm. All right. Let me just make sure it pops up on the screen.
You guys paying attention? He's making me look like an idiot on camera. Hopefully, we got a lot of followers for this. Pay attention. Big Steve, hacks, hoax.
All right, ready? Now this one's called Got Rhythm.
Okay.
All right, so this is how it works. When you get started, you're gonna use a space bar. You're gonna follow the beat. After a while, the beat's gonna stop, but your finger's gonna keep up the beat. And then it's gonna be 10 seconds, and we're gonna track how well you're on beat.
Okay.
All right, so start. You want to start with the space bar whenever you're ready.
Space bar.
You're gonna click it. Like on beat. My fault.
You gotta play it.
My fault. Okay. 843. Okay.
So what's that out of?
1,000.
So is that good?
Yeah.
I got a B.
My high score is 830.
I'm better than him.
Nah, we'll see. This is why we do best out
Check
of 2.
that beat.
We're gonna do best out of 2.
Hey, ready. I'm a producer.
$817. Okay. Making that an average of, let's see.
Wait, is he trying to make an AI of me? He's got my voice. He's got my thinking and reaction. You said, what field are you in again? Oh, he was in the computer field. Watch out for this guy. So 830, is that outside of about 800 or 1,000?
Out of 1,000. What did I say with my high score?
8:30.
8:30.
So we're the same.
The same. There you go. There you go.
So what does the average people get?
So yesterday, last guest we had was Rob Heartbeat Brazzi, and Heartbeat Brazzi, he had a good score too. He had 883.
Wow.
883 was his high, and his low was he messed up, so we just didn't count that one. It's like 700 something, but we didn't count that.
Oh.
So I just let him go to 843 because he was running late. I mean 886, 883. Yours was 830.
So what is this determine, and what part of your brain does it? Your reaction time, or is it?
So it breaks down right here. It tells you how your timing on your brain works, how your brain works when it comes to rhythm. How if you're either too early or too late, depending on how well your body takes rhythm. And so there's a score out of 1,000 on how perfect you can be on beat, and you score 30 on average out of 2.
This is really good for not only just this as a game, but how you do things in life. Business, you find a rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
You make love to a woman with a rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
You live every day on a rhythm.
That's a fact.
And when they call it circadian rhythm.
That's true. That's true. They said the universe operates on circadian rhythm. Yep. That's a fact. That's a fact. Yo, that's Big Steve, y'all. You know what time it is. It's Luch got on the podbus, doing what we do each and every single week, doing what I do for real. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Peace. Here we go. Here we go.